Before the break, you mentioned Ethan Pocic. Browns have missed him. He has been, eligible to be activated from IR. Kevin Stefanski said they're hoping he can play. So this is from Browns Wire. 3 things the return of Ethan Pocic would mean for the Browns. Number 1, run game. It's not been the same since his absence, so we'll get into that a little bit more. 2, Pocic can continue to earn a big payday this offseason. That's relative to the Browns signing him to an extension. And 3, the Browns will finally have a fully healthy line for the first time with Deshaun Watson under center. The other part of that was the grades for Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, the 2 guards, Pro Football Focus grades, significantly higher when Ethan Pocic is in there because they don't have to help out with the center position.
Yeah, and I think, the center is the more underrated, probably the most underrated position on the offensive line because that's the linchpin. They're the ones making the line calls and all those sorts of things. So when you have that position taken care of, when you have a stable, good player there, it makes everybody else's job better because then you don't have to have extra responsibilities. You don't have to worry about, the middle of your offensive line collapsing or being a liability in certain situations. And if Ethan Pocic can come back for Saturday, that's a huge boost to this offensive line, just because, again, like I said, you're going to be running the football a lot. You obviously want, all hands on deck running the football, 5, maybe 6 or even 7 offensive linemen in certain situations. And you look at what the Saints are defensively, they're in the bottom half of the NFL in rushing yards allowed and rushing yards per attempt. So the Saints are not that good of a run defense. Obviously, the weather is going to help kind of dictate, how the game's going to be played. So they're going to try and lean more in stopping the run. And then it comes down to execution. Can your offensive line make blocks? Can they get to the second level? Can they open up the holes for Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, even Deshaun Watson in certain situations? Where, like I said with Taysom Hill, and the Browns are going to have a quarterback who can be that 11th player that defense does have to worry about in the run game, although probably not nearly to the extent of Taysom Hill. But if you get Pocic back, like I said, huge upgrade, and it's one you're probably going to need in a game like this more than either of the last 2.
Yeah, the other thing with quarterbacks like Hill, like Watson, inclement weather, defense better tackle well. The defense that tackles better is usually going to be the one that's more successful in a game like this.
Yeah, and I mean, Nick Chubb, Alvin Kamara, 2 of the toughest backs to tackle for very different reasons. So if you think it's hard to tackle Nick Chubb, just wait till it's like, single digits or maybe just 10 degrees and the wind chill's below 0. And Nick Chubb, goes running at you and runs 3. It's going to feel like, maybe a car hits you or something like that. So both teams are going to have to strap up, buckle the chin straps a little tighter, and, just be ready for a very physical, tough game because I don't see any way it's not on Saturday. It's probably going to be one of those games that, you saw in those film strips with the 50s and from the 50s and 60s where there was a lot of running, not many passes. I think that's kind of what we see on Saturday, kind of some old school football going on by the lake.